Joining us now to discuss the legal issues behind all this, Norm Eisen. He was a special counsel for the House Judiciary Committee in Trump's first impeachment trial. Norm, first of all, I wonder if you could clear up, by law, who should have access to such offices and voting systems? I mean, is the law clear on this?
Jim, thanks for having me back. The law makes clear, and it's it starts with Georgia state law on computer trespass and computer invasion of privacy, Jim, that only authorized individuals are supposed to have access to this. So now that we have this surveillance footage, it raises a very serious question about whether unauthorized individuals got access to the data. There's also federal statutes that are involved. There's personal information, very sensitive on these systems. So this raises very serious legal issues.
Norm, we just heard Drew explaining to us, yes, there are these state-by-state investigations, but it's just not clear if DOJ is pursuing any broader investigation, right? They've gotten this state information, but there's been no response in return, as Drew said. When you talk about what the DA in Fulton County, Georgia, Fani Willis is doing in that, broadening criminal probe into efforts to overturn the 2020 election, how would this, also taking place in Georgia, in a different county, how might this impact that?
Well, Poppy, there's indications that some of the planning and execution of this event took place in using some of the contractors who may have been involved, took place within Fulton County, within Fani Willis's jurisdiction. So that allows her to investigate these matters. They're serious ones under Georgia law, and you see the same cast of characters. I thought it was so interesting that Miss Latham is also a fake elector. We know she's looking intensively at that. There's a grand jury in D.C., a federal grand jury that's looking at the fake electors. So this is already within Miss Willis's jurisdiction, and I would be very surprised if the federal authorities didn't also look under federal computer hacking, intrusion, and invasion statutes at whether there were federal issues here as well.
No, Norm, there's the continuing question with all these cases as to whether the legal system is keeping up with this, right? And with what level of speed and seriousness. This is in Georgia, but as Drew made the point, similar access occurred in other states, which could point right to there being a broader plan, conspiracy of which there's evidence, right? Because the president's comment, former president's comments, and so on. I mean, in your view, does it need to be a national investigation to some degree?
Jim, I think we've seen that with the work of the Georgia DA, there is a role for state investigators here. She's out in front of everyone investigating the alleged crimes committed by the former president and others involved with him. So while you need a strong state review, yes, there is a role for a federal investigation. We know there are multiple federal investigations going on. And I believe that the federal investigation, for example, into the fake electors, we know that exists. We know there's a grand jury. Because of the presence of a fake elector, allegedly, as part of this, and again, we have to note, her attorney says there was no wrongdoing. We'll see. Because of her presence, that federal grand jury could be expanded to include this, and probably should be.
Norm Eisen, thank you for helping us understand it.
Thanks, Poppy. Thanks, Jim.